Hi everyone, my name is Agne and I'm a wedding videographer, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my style of shooting and the equipment that I use, and basically talk you through why I've got the setup and why it works for me. I've been filming weddings for 7 years now, and let me tell you, there are many different approaches that you can take to filming a wedding, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. But personally, the concept that works best for me in terms of equipment is less is more. It gives me the freedom to move around easily. I don't get too tired at the end of the day, and it means that I can be wherever I want to be and capture those natural moments without having too much equipment weighing me down. It also makes me a lot less intimidating for my clients because we have to remember that being in front of a camera is not the most natural thing for people, and a lot of the times it can seem a little scary, a little intimidating. So the less scary that I can look to people, the better. That's basically my aim. Look not scary. So, okay, starting with my cameras, I use the Sony A7 III as my main camera. I also have the A7S Mark II, which is what I'm filming on, and my third camera is the A6300. The reason I have 3 cameras is because I make multi-camera edits for the speeches and the ceremony for my clients, but the majority of the day I just film on my A7 III. The rest of the cameras stay in my camera bag. Now, when I started out, I was filming on Canons, but about 4 years ago I switched over to the Sonys because they were more compatible with my style of filming. They are mirrorless cameras, which means that they are light and they're a lot smaller than the other DSLRs that you can get, meaning that I can move around a lot easier with them and hold it up all day without my hands getting too tired. I don't have the strongest hands, so that's very helpful. And also, they have an inbuilt image stabilizing system, which makes it a lot easier for me to move around with them freehand without necessarily having to have them on a gimbal or a monopod to stabilize my shots. Obviously, I have to be very still, very stable myself, but the camera does the rest. The Sonys are cameras which are built for filming in low light situations, and that's another thing I love about them. When I first started out, I used to have an LED light that sat on top of my camera for the evening part of the day. So when everybody's on the dance floor and they're dancing, they're having a good time. And obviously those places aren't always very well lit. And you need that extra boost of light to be able to light what you're filming. But I really don't like drawing attention to myself when I'm filming. When people are dancing especially, I want them to have their guard down. I want them to be silly and fun and dancing with each other without necessarily seeing that I'm there filming them. So having this big bright light shining from my direction was not the best thing for that. So I don't have to have a light on my camera anymore. I just have to rank up the ISO to 10,000, 15,000. I film everything in natural light and you can't even tell the difference. They're perfect for that. Now a little bit about my audio setup. I don't have an external mic. I'm recording straight from the microphones in the Sonys. I think that they're good enough to capture the ambient sounds that I need, that I like to leave in the background of my films. So for example, in the morning when the girls are getting ready or the guys are out drinking beers, and just to have that background noise in the film, I think gives it a bit more character and that home video feel, which I really love. I've got these little dead kittens that sit on top of the mic. They're called micro wind jammers. I just got them off Amazon. And they're really good for stopping the wind noise if you're filming outside. And they also look a little bit like koala ears. But for more important audio bits, I use the Sony TX-650 to capture the vows and the speeches and the ceremony. This is an external recorder. It's actually what I'm using to record myself right now. All you need to do is pop it into the pocket of whoever's speaking and it records everything perfectly. So I find that this combination works really, really great for me to be able to clip things onto people easily without having any wires or cables, and it's just perfect. It also frees up the space on top of my camera for my next piece of kit that I want to talk about, which is the Atomos SHINOBI monitor. I also have the Ninja V, which I use for other bigger projects, but for weddings, the majority of the time I just have the Shinobi on. It's a really big help when it comes to filming weddings, and I wouldn't go anywhere without it now. Just to give me that reassurance that what I'm filming is the best that it can be. Now, a wedding is a live event, and it's the most important day in a lot of people's lives. So you really only have that one chance to get it right when you're filming it. And having a big screen in front of you is really reassuring to know that what you're filming is in focus, that it's well exposed, that it's well framed, and basically that you're nailing it the first time. The Shinobi is a bright screen, which is really helpful when filming weddings outside. A lot of the weddings take place outside, especially in the summer when the sun is shining. I used to really hate filming when it was bright outside because I couldn't see anything at the back of my camera, so I'd have to switch off the LCD monitor and look through the viewfinder, which was just the smallest amount of vision. So it's really helpful now to have the Shinobi to look at when it's bright outside. Not only is it a big bright monitor for you to look at, it's also got some really helpful features on it that are easily accessible to be able to double check that what you're filming is well exposed. Sometimes when you're filming and it's bright outside, you can't clearly see on your screen whether you've exposed correctly. So all you need to do is go to the zebra setting, zebra, turn that on, make sure that everything's fine, and then if you don't need it anymore, you can just click it off. You don't have to go deep inside your camera settings to be able to have those features on. They're all right in front of you. Now let's get to my lenses. I have three cameras, three lenses. I have the Nifty 50, which is again what I'm filming on. It's the Sony 1.8, and it's a really light lens, and I absolutely love it, especially for the evenings when it can just sit on my camera and it's really sort of tiny and I can move around people and film without getting in anyone's way. Then I have the Sony 10 to 18mm lens. This is an f4 crop frame lens, and I don't use it very often. It normally sits on my A6300 for the speeches and the ceremony when I want a wider view of everyone, or when I need establishing shots. But for the rest of the day, it sort of stays in the bottom of my camera bag. And my third and final lens is my 85mm Samyang f1.4. Now this baby stays on my camera for the majority of the day. It is a manual focused lens, which made it about £1,000 cheaper than the other 85mm lenses that I was looking to get. But I don't mind the manual focus. I've gotten quite good at it. And if I need help with my focusing and just to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly, I just turn the focus peaking on. You can choose whatever color you want. You can choose the intensity. It's just a great reassurance that what you're filming is in focus. And if you need more reassurance, you can always go to the magnifying glass, click that, have a look. Everyone's in focus, everything looks great. And again, it's just really simple because it's so easily accessible when you don't want to have your zebra on anymore, when you don't want to have your focus peaking on to have these red outlines on people. All you have to do is click them off. You can have a look at your histogram, switch it off if you don't need it. It's just so simple, so easy, and really a small price to pay for that extra peace of mind that what you're filming is the best that it can be. Now the shoe mount that I'm using to attach my monitor to my camera is the Atomos Atom X shoe mount with a quick release plate. They've released this not long ago because they themselves saw how difficult it was to find a good shoe mount to attach these things to. The ones that I had previously were really fiddly and they wouldn't turn exactly how I needed them to, but this is really, really flexible. You can really easily get into awkward positions to film those shots that you want to film quickly. If you want to film something from a low angle, you just tilt your monitor down, you get down and you can have a clear picture of what you're filming. If you're filming from high above, again, you just tilt your monitor down and you can get those shots that you wouldn't necessarily be able to have if you didn't have a flexible monitor. Another thing you can do is take it off your camera and film like around the corner, for example, or even have your camera mounted on a gimbal and have the monitor separately to have that free movement but still see what you're filming easily. This also really comes in handy when I'm setting up my shots for the ceremony or the speeches. I work alone, so I don't have another person to help me with things like that. So when I put my cameras down to film a ceremony, a lot of the times I won't be able to check on them in the middle of the ceremony to make sure that they're filming everything right. So the way that I set my shots up is I will put my second and third cameras on a monopod or a tripod and normally stick them somewhere in the corner of a room where people won't trip over them and where they won't be in anyone's way too much. But the problem with setting up a camera in the corner of a room is you don't always have the ability to check if what it's filming is the correct thing that you want it to film. So what I'll do in that situation is I use the help of the Shinobi to make me frame those shots right. I've got a little example here from one of the weddings that I was filming. Please excuse the bad quality. That was just from my phone that I filmed for my friend. But this is basically how I set up. I've got my camera behind a curtain somewhere and I use the monitor to check that everything I'm filming is in the frame, that it's in focus, and that it's well exposed. Just like that. So I'll turn this towards myself, make the frame right, focus. And yeah, after that I'll very easily take the monitor, put it back on my camera, and film the rest of the wedding with this on my camera. So that's my setup for the ceremony and the speeches. But like I said before, for the majority of the day I film handheld without any other assistance, so it's really important for me to have a light setup. So I've got my light camera, the Shinobi is really light, and the lenses that I use are pretty light, and it's just the perfect combination for me to be able to move around quickly and to really capture those moments that I think my clients would like to see back in their video. I don't really like sticking around and waiting for something to happen in my frame. I'm always chasing those laughs and those jokes, those punchlines, the happy tears and the hugs and everything, and I think that the more equipment I have that weighs me down, the less ability I have to really get to those moments and capture them on my film. Now, when your job is making films or even taking photographs, you tend to forget just how weird it is for people in front of your camera to relax and be natural with each other, especially for a bride and groom when you're taking them off to do their portraits and you're telling them constantly to kiss each other and hug each other and, you know, do all this stuff. And, you know, they don't know you, you're a stranger, and there might be another photographer and an assistant maybe. So a lot of the times it's a really weird experience for a bride and groom to be able to do that and act natural. And they can get quite tense doing things like that. So what I like to do is just turn my monitor around and show them what they look like. Show them that their portraits are coming across really nicely and naturally. And it really gives them that reassurance that they're doing a good job and that they don't look silly and foolish in front of your camera. A lot of the times they'll be apologizing for not doing what they think we want them to, but really all we need is for them to just have a good time with each other. So it's really helpful, I think, for their peace of mind to be able to see themselves on your screen and acting normal and not silly. This can be a little bit tricky when you're filming on a flat profile like in S-Log. It captures your footage quite flat and it can look a bit gray and desaturated, and it doesn't necessarily look very nice at the back of your camera. So another really useful feature of the Shinobi and the Ninja V is that you can download your lookup tables that you use in post-production to color grade your films. You can download them onto the monitor, and when you're filming you can put that LUT on there and basically be able to view what you're filming through the screen as it would be after you've edited it. So it's still being recorded in S-Log, but the vision that you're seeing through the monitor and the image that you're going to be showing your couple, or if someone else, if like a guest sees the back of your screen, is going to be how you are envisioning it to look after you've edited it. So I think that's a really good almost promotional tool for you yourself on the day, because anyone who sees the back of your monitor will automatically see your style of filmmaking that you're creating and putting out there. Not this gray, desaturated, flat image that you then have to tell people, don't worry about it, I'm gonna edit it, it's gonna look different after I've color graded it, basically. So I think that's really reassuring for your couple as well, to give them that feeling of, okay, she's doing a good job, we can relax. So this is it. For 85% of a wedding day, this is my setup. I have my camera around my neck. I hold it tight so that I can keep my shots as stable as I can. If you hold it down low, that's even easier. Tilt your monitor down and you can just become a human tripod and get around quickly. Don't look so scary to the people that you're filming. It's taken me a few years to build up my equipment to this setup, and I think that it works absolutely perfectly for me. I've got my light camera, I've got my manual focus lens, and I've got the Shinobi, which is absolutely vital in ensuring that what I'm filming is the best that it can be. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you found this useful. I hope that this has inspired you to maybe use some different types of equipment that you haven't tried before, and to really narrow down your kit to your most vital things that you need, so that you can really concentrate on being creative and seeing your vision through your own eyes and not being weighed down too much by the equipment that you're using. If you've got any questions, please leave them under this video and I'll try and reply to you. Stay safe, stay indoors because quarantine, and I'll see you next time. Bye!